back, relax, the show is live. From the start straight to your vibe. AC Infinity, the name you trust. Cannabis talk, no need to fuss. Knowledge flows like a sweet blunt roll. High vibes and wisdom take control. Let's go from the stash. Highly educational. AC Infinity. Cannabis sensational. Get back,
Hey,
relax,
what's
the
up?
show is live.
Yo,
Happy Tuesday. Where are we?
missed it by a
Going
second,
on?
but I
Missed
feel
it by
like we're
1
right on
second.
time, baby. Like we're
What
right on
happens?
time.
Boys, welcome back. Everyone, welcome back. It's
Welcome,
from the stash,
welcome,
highly
welcome.
educational. Happy Tuesday.
Happy
Happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Sorry, I want to make sure I
Yeah.
got the chat up
Big
for this
product
too. I don't want to
release
miss anything.
today that Terraform has everyone flipping out, man. What a great
Oh,
hype, man. A lot of people are amped. Glad that we were all able to be a part of it and we're all here. I've got mine here in the young back, as you see, maybe. Winkle's full. Just sitting there blurry. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we weren't the ones that had to like announce it. At first, I thought that's what it was. When I looked at the time, I was like 3, 4, 5. But no, none of those times are right. I'm not good with time zones.
man, it was great. It seems like it was a very successful launch. A lot of excitement, a lot of great news, a lot of great guesses in terms of people who thought what, or in terms
Air
of what
fryer
people
was
thought
the
it was
top
going to be.
one.
Air fryer was huge.
Pizza
Yep.
maker.
Yep. Short Canadian in a box, gonna trim your herb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canadian. Yeah, there's a variety of things, man.
Yep.
But it right now is the best time for it, man. You look at the season that we're in, and it's to the point where it is deathly hot. Like it's uncomfortably hot. And for the most part, when you're dealing with maintaining your vapor pressure deficit, it's easier to do if you have an all-in-one unit. And what's nice with this coming out is you're able to cool your space that you're going to need, but then you may flip over into winter and now you need to heat it. Or you may be dealing with humidity being too high, like I'm dealing with here, and you need to do, dehumidification. These are important things to have in your garden if you want to maintain proper growth through the veg phase and through flower, especially when you're growing them bigger,
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a few minutes before we get into tonight's topic, right? So they released a new air conditioner / dehumidifier / heater. I released a video on it, and people going crazy. They've long awaited having an air conditioner released by AC Infinity, right? So a lot of people are digging it, and I can't wait to really use it to full capacity. I actually just set it up yesterday and made that video, so I'm just kind of learning about what's the best way to set it up. I live in a very hot climate. I think I mentioned that a million times. Very dry climate as well, and so I need to obviously have an air conditioner. This should work well in the summer for me, but I also run a humidifier, so I need to figure out how to like not dry out the air, but also cool the air. And there's different ways, different configurations. They have a bunch of different configurations you can do with that unit. So I'm looking forward to really seeing what's going to work best for me and my environment, and then kind of go from there. But super, super important to dial things in, your environmental controls with humidifier or dehumidifier. People in the Pacific Northwest, for example, where it's very humid at times, 60% plus humidity, they need to run the dehumidifier all the time. So this will be a good thing for them. And then, yeah, the heater as well. So like if you need to heat grow space in the wintertime, for example, this could be something to use for that.
Yeah. Something I think is really good to point out too is that the AC unit will dispense its discharged water and fill up the humidifier.
Say what?
Believe it. Believe it. I'm pretty
Believe
sure I heard
it?
that off of High again. Yar.
There's a humidifier in this?
No. The unit.
Oh, you can use that then and connect that to fill your
The
unit.
the
hose into-
hose will go into the humidifier to fill the
okay.
humidifier. Yeah, okay. It's like, okay, wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second.
Man,
So,
for those of you who
Yep.
are really wanting that, and I know you got to wait if you haven't already got it using discount code the stash at checkout. But if you haven't already gotten it, we're going to be giving one of these away at the end of the episode. Big shout out to AC Infinity, man. We got a trivia that we're going to be doing. We're also going to be giving away some swag boxes from AC Infinity. But man, to be able to get one of these units here, it's for free. For
Pretty sweet.
free.
Pretty
Yeah, man.
sweet.
Big shout out to
Pretty
AC
sweet.
Infinity for making that happen.
From the Stash 15, if you're looking to check that out as well.
Yep.
On if you're looking to purchase that, save
Yeah,
yourself a little
discount
yen
code. Huh.
at checkout.
The
Yeah.
chickens. Yeah,
Chicken. Yeah,
you
check out.
know. So when you're dealing with dialing in your space, like we talked about in the last episode, having a grow tent's probably going to be the easiest way to utilize, vapor pressure deficit, negative air pressure, any of these things that are going to make it so you can contain the smell, the space, the humidity, the temperature, all of that. But if you're in an open space, it still would be important to get something like a humidifier, dehumidifier, heater, or air conditioner. Now, of course, getting something like this would be very useful, but if you already have something on hand, utilizing these in the right way is important. And I really feel it's consistency in your VPD, not just the temperature and humidity. Work those together. There's charts all over the web that break that down really easy for you, but it helps you guide your plants to basically being the best, most vigorous growing plants they can be without having to deal with the stress of either too high or too low of either of these things.
Yeah. 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 This is a great conversation. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. I think it's important to regulate your or to circulate the air in your tent, mainly because for me, I think what is the biggest thing that I'm trying to avoid is bugs. Bugs.
Bugs
And
Bunny.
there's a huge asset to circulating the air that plays into the growth of the plant as well, which is far smarter than me, that I'll let Chris talk about. But the biggest thing for me, circulating the air, is avoid bugs, man. Get the bugs out of there. Get fresh, clean air so that nothing has the opportunity to sit, chill, breed, and take over.
You
Well, you
want them to
certainly
grow
don't
and
want
be
to have
strong.
hot spots and humid spots as well, right? If you didn't have any air circulation going on with oscillating fans, for example, or some people put box fans in there, you could have those hot spots or humid spots. And powdery mildew is not a good thing at all. If you have high humidity and it's stagnant air, that's going to potentially result in powdery mildew. And if you're in flowering, you have real thick buds, stagnant air that could lead to bud rot, botrytis cinerea to be exact. That I've had that before. It is no bueno. The feeling of having to cut off branches and seeing bud rot on the inside, then throwing those away. I don't wish that upon anybody.
It's horrible, man.
So yeah, I always have air circulations in the tents. I used to only run one because it used to be it was sufficient, right? One have good air circulation across. Seemed like everything was good. I wasn't getting any powdery mildew or anything, but I had a cheapy brand of oscillating fan die out on me, and so I had no air circulation going on, and that's when the bud rot hit, unfortunately. So I always run more than one circulating fan now, just to be cautious about it.
It's the
Smart.
worst. It's the worst, man. Like, and that's the thing is you can deal with powdery mildew, bud rot. I mean, again, a breeding ground, like P was saying, for pests. You want to make sure that your environment is dialed in, and that's again, it's not just Billy Mason for this product, but this is a great reason why this product was released because essentially, for me, being AC Infinity, not having an AC was a crime. Now having an AC is great, but then I don't want to have to buy all these things separately. For those who are just getting into it, it's easier to get something together as one, but you may not always need to use all these. Chris's prime example of it, that heater's probably never going to get used. I
Well,
doubt it. And the air conditioner for P, probably never going to get used. But the
nope.
other features will, so
Oh,
it depends
100%.
on the person. I'm in
I'm a,
Michigan, so I'm going to use all of it.
I'm 100% here to put this to the test because I know that not only does ACI want my honest opinion in regards to how their products work and function, like we just got it. We just got it. So
Yeah,
I haven't had the opportunity to even plug it in yet. And not only does ACI trust us to give a good, honest opinion, but so does our community. This is something that sure, it's not the first air conditioner to drop, but it's the first grow conditioner to drop.
essentially,
And
yeah. Grow
it's
tent
like,
conditioner.
yeah, yeah. So it's very exciting, very exciting. So it kind of plays into the idea of me being able to manage your environment and including the temperatures and the humidity, which is exciting.
Absolutely, man. Well, if you got your space dialed in and you followed along from the first episode into this episode now, we're kind of going to be touching on the mediums, and we would go over every one, and later in some other episodes we will touch on more. But following along how we're going to grow on this, we're going to in particular talk about two, and that'd be soil or cocoa. Now, in this case, I'm going to be doing cocoa with synthetics. Chris is going to be doing soil with organics, and Pigeons is doing soil with synthetics. So we
Soilless.
all
Yep.
three are soilless, but we all three are doing different processes with similar approaches. And I think the biggest difference between using cocoa, using soilless in this case, and usually in my case, is pre-amended, so something utilizing and reusing over. Now you can do that with cocoa, more common seed with peat moss, thing in that you'd use as a meat, so to speak. Now, oftentimes you're reusing your soil. That's one thing for you. But what was your original cost?
You're breaking up a little bit. What did you?
Oh, Ricken. All right.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was me.
I
No,
wasn't sure if it was
me. All
me
right.
either.
Nobody said anything. Sorry. What was your
Um,
question?
my question was, what is like your initial cost starting with oil versus something like again? If you're
What's
getting
your initial
an organic
cost with
soil,
starting with
still can't
organics?
hear me?
Yeah, it's cutting out real bad.
Oh,
Um,
what?
yep. What I think I heard. What is your original startup cost if you were to start with organic versus synthetic, Chris?
That's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, starting with soil versus cocoa, as far as the price of the actual medium, it really all depends, right? You've got folks that are looking to start in a soil that has nutrition already in it, right? So there's a lot of bag soils now that already have amendments in it that you don't need to feed nutrients right away. Something like that, a bagged soil, about a cubic foot, 1.5 cubic feet roughly, is going to cost you about $25, maybe at your local nursery for a pretty, a brand name type soil. Or you can get online, it's going to be a little bit more, right? So I think like Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil, for example, is like $35 on Amazon, but you can get it locally for like $20, for example. Now, Build a Soil, I think the shipping price, it adds so much more money. Now, on the cocoa side of things, you can get bagged cocoa that's already kind of pre-buffered and rinsed as well. And that's going to cost you roughly around the same price. At least that's what it is when I compared it looking at my local nursery there. Now you can get bricked as well, which is actually going to come cheaper. But with the bricked option, you need to actually hydrate that cocoa first. So you actually need to not only hydrate it, but some of these cocos you're going to actually need to rinse and buffer. So kind of rinsing out the salts and buffering it, adding in like people buffer with like a calcium magnesium, like a CalMag supplement. They'll basically soak it in CalMag in a bucket, and that kind of buffers it and allows that to kind of attach to the cocoa. So there's a little bit more legwork involved if you're going the bricked route. I've done the brick route in the past, and I'm just kind of like, ugh, I'm more the guy like, hey, let me make things a little bit easier. So I'm traditionally over more in soil because I like to just get a bag or reuse soil, but usually get a bag and just water only for the first 20, 30 days or so since it has nutrition in it, like I had mentioned. So that's the cost of the actual medium. I think we're getting into nutrients a little bit later on in the episode, so I'll hold off on that avenue.
Yeah, man. I think that's the biggest thing is when you're looking at it's kind of pros and cons. What is going to be something that makes it more attractive for one versus the other? In my opinion, it's going to be subjective. I liked cocoa before because it's really more of an inert media. I don't have to deal with potentially getting pests in there when I get it from a grocery store or online, and it's usually pretty cheap. But the only issue boils down to then if you're getting something that's like pre-mixed with aeration, whether that be perlite or grow stones or something else in there, that usually costs a little more money, and you're getting less cubic feet per bag than you would from something more dense or bale. So, Pete, when you use ProMix often, right?
Yep. ProMix is the only thing I've used.
Now, do you often you get the big giant
Yeah, I
bale?
typically grab a bale. I refer to it
Yeah,
as a bale. That's the 36 cubic feet, I believe. That might be a little bit. I can't remember actually, but I think it's the
it's a
bale.
big one.
It's the big one, and that's about 35 Canadian yen. And
That's not bad. It's
but
not
when
bad.
you're talking about getting started, though, Chris talks about purchasing a bag of Fox Farm. No affiliation by any stretch of the imagination, but it's about 35 American dollars, if I'm not mistaken. You just said
On Amazon, locally, it's about 20
Amazon.
bucks.
When you purchase ProMix, I use HP ProMix. It's got mycorrhizae added into it, mycorrhizae, and the uh, the medium, the potting mix, if you will, that's what I refer to it as, has nothing in it. So you have to purchase nutrients. That purchase of nutrients is going to cost you, like, depending on what you're going to go with. If you're going to get an A and a B of something, it's typically $15, $20 a bottle. You're going to need an A and a B for veg, an A and a B for flour, and then some stash blend
Of
for
course, you need
about
stash blend.
$15 a bag, over on Amazon. That one right there. I think that's the 4 ounce. I think it's only $8. Yeah. So yeah,
Dude,
needless to say.
it's cheap though.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where it goes in the argument of like initial startup cost versus overtime cost. So if you're
Right, 'cause
starting and
that
you're going organic soil, it's pretty
you're gonna
pricey to
use
get
that
started.
for a while
But
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, I think
exactly.
both with organic and synthetic, you're gonna purchase bottles and you're gonna purchase a bag or a medium that you're gonna be able to use again and again. Like, it's now, of course, bottles are gonna run out, but you're
Forever.
gonna get a couple grows out of them.
Yeah. I feel that's a big pro for most people. With Coco, if you're getting something like AC Infinity's Coco, it's $7.99 for a 2-pound brick, ready to go, do its thing. It's pretty cheap. But then you need to get a little bit more into the knowledge on how to use Coco. You're dealing with cation exchange or cation, or however everybody says it differently,
Cation.
seemingly. I know, and I got corrected recently by saying that. They're like, it's cation. I'm like, cation.
Like vacation.
Yeah. And this is the thing of like the bro science of stuff is regardless of what you want to call it, you got to have the grow science of it, because if you go into this and you're dealing with cocoa like it's soil, you may mess up. So in a situation of pH, prime example, you don't often have to pH your water at all, right?
No,
Never. Lucky you. Very lucky you. Now, when I'm dealing with soil, I oftentimes don't have to as vigorously. But when you're in cocoa, you really have to pay attention to that. You're going to be between 5.6 to 5.8, even up to 6.2 on your pH, but you can't just wing it. You need to really be dialing it in. Unless, again, you're having some organic amendments added to it that can help buffer that out. Now, when you're dealing with the situation with normally how P would be doing, he doesn't have to deal with a pH down. But another thing that comes in dealing with synthetics with cocoa or with a soilless media is you have to deal with your pH up or pH down, pH meter, and potentially dealing with your ppm and EC, and that's the parts per million or electronic. Oh, wow.
Electrical conductivity.
Electrical conductivity. Boom.
what's the
You
M?
fade it out.
Meter?
Parts per million.
No, EC.
EC meter.
Oh, it's EC meter. Right. Parts per
Yeah,
million.
ppm.
Got it. EC.
So
Electric conductivity.
again, our expense just goes up more and more and more. Well, yes, the initial cost isn't so bad, but now over time, you got more equipment you have to get. You have more potential nutrients you have to get, or more chemicals, so to speak. It's going to really get to the point where your overall cost per pound, we'll say, is going to be higher than somebody who did go organically, in my opinion. In the sense of your initial cost may have been higher, but what you're going to get when you break it down, it's going to be more expensive dealing with something that has a consistent recurring income or recurring expense. So look at the pros and the cons of things. Again, I think it's subjective, because some would say, well, I get better results with soil versus cocoa because soil is more forgiving. Do you guys see that at all? I mean, I guess organic you would.
I mean, I think you're right. It's subjective. It really is. I mean, are you the type of person that wants to make things a little bit easier, be a little bit more hands off, let the plant uptake nutrients as it wishes? Well, then you probably want to go the soil and organic amendment route, versus if you want to be a little bit more hands on, precision nutrient feeding. Well, then cocoa, because it's an inert medium, it doesn't have any nutrients in it to begin. Go with the cocoa, go with a synthetic nutrient line, and then you have more control over your inputs there. So it's totally dependent on which way you want to go, really. We've had this argument I want to say argument, but debate for years. Which one is better? It really depends on your personal preference, is what it comes down to. And one thing we didn't talk about is kind of porosity and water holding capacity, right? So, like, generally speaking, most soil mixes are going to hold on to water a little bit better than cocoa. I find when I use cocoa, I have to water more often. The container, even after watering, is a lot lighter than it is with soil. It just holds water a little bit better with the soil versus the cocoa. So, again, it comes down to kind of being a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more work has to be involved with cocoa, because you have to kind of water more frequently if you're doing hand watering. Now, if you're on an automated system, then, it doesn't really matter that much, because, well,
Nobody's going to trust you.
That is true. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Don't trust a man that doesn't hand water, is what Pigeon's saying is. But But yeah, it doesn't, since it doesn't hold on to water as well. You really got to water more often unless you're on a auto watering system. So, a couple things to mention there.
Subjective 100%, except Chris is always right. Okay.
That is
So
true.
I want that to be
That is true.
understood. Yeah,
Scientifically.
I totally agree. You know, I think the easy way out, and this is where the debate really starts. I think the easy way out is going synthetic. That's the way I grow. I think that's the easy
Man,
way.
I
And then
totally
and
argue opposite,
that's what
dude.
I'm saying.
It's
That's what
so
I'm saying.
crazy.
That's where the argument really starts.
You
That's where
gotta
and
do it.
a debate is an argument for the record.
No,
No one
we don't
loses
like
the
each other.
no,
We're
we
paid
fight.
here to be here. We don't like each
Yeah,
other. Yeah.
cameo, totally
It's a
cameo.
cameo, yeah. And mine's almost up, so let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, let's keep it
No.
rolling.
Well, it goes
No,
back
but
to there's so many different ways to do it, right? I mean, successfully, I should say. So many different ways to do it successfully. So Pigeons does it one way successfully. Rob does it another way successfully. I do it another way successfully. So many different ways of growing. That's what makes it so
Mhm.
fun, really.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing is so you look at lifestyle, you look at availability of these products and these things, and you also look at how and where they're growing. It may be a difference in those things. It also could be potentially their personal preference. Somebody who likes the more organic, natural lifestyle would never consider growing something with synthetics. Goes both ways. My thing is to just water my plants is a hack. Like all I have to do is one time a week with Stash Blend, water my plants, and I'm like, wow, they're immaculate. As we're with synthetics, it's like, yeah, it's easy. You follow the recipe, but it's just more labor intensive. Unless it's not like it's harder. It is easier. Like I agree in that sense. It's less complicated. But
Right.
you've got
And I
companies like Build
also
a Soil who make a pre-made mix or the craft blend, like makes it
hats
so you
off.
could be kind of dumb and just
You
scoop and dupe.
Jeremy's doing something where it's like he's turning organic
I can
into the
THC.
synthetic method. You know, I can organics where it's like it's a synthetic method almost, where it's like you grab the not the bottle, it's the bag, and you put it in when it needs it, right? It's a synthetic method, I guess, if you could, if you will, without, I guess, what is or excuse me, there we go. What is organic? That's really a question. It's like how far, when you're vegetarian or vegan, how far?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
far back? At what level? So it's like that's really what's organic too. I had a point to this, but I segued too far. So go ahead.
It's good. It's good. That means the herb's working. I
Mhm.
think this is where it comes into the subjectiveness of which would you rather deal with? Would you rather deal with
Oh,
potentially
got it. Hold on.
take it,
Thank you.
do it.
Thank you. Thank you. The idea of synthetic is I like to control the ease of it. When I make a mistake, I can correct it. I can make a quick and easy fix. Organic is a little slower. Not only is it slower to fix, but I guess the advantage is it's slower to also fade at the same time. If you can catch it at the right time, I guess you could catch it quicker than in a synthetic medium where you're the plants uptaking the nutrients so quickly. So yeah, that was my point. Kind of irrelevant to where you were starting to take this, but
Yeah.
It's
So
cool.
the
I think I was turning
synthetic
into a robot
nutrients
again.
are in a plant available form, right? So you mix them up in water, water your plant, and the plant it's immediately available for the plant to uptake.
thank you.
Organics, on the other side, is going to need to be broken down by the biology first. So microorganisms in the soil, they need to actually do nutrient cycling. So you add in your amendments into the medium, and once you water that in, they're not available right away. Now, some are depending on what the organic fertilizer is. Some will actually be able to dissolve in the water and be available for plant uptake right away. But for the most part, many of these amendments need to be broken down by microbes first, and that takes time. And that's exactly what Pigeons is mentioning. Like, hey, if you're using organics, you come across a deficiency and use organics, well, if you add in a fertilizer top dress, for example, and water it in, it's going to take a little bit longer for the plant to actually be able to uptake that versus synthetic. When you're adding it in, it's going to correct the deficiency a little bit faster, you know?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
unless you're
That's
working on making a tea, and that's again where Stash Blend's like an instant tea, but then other ones you have to learn, if you don't know about the basics of plant biology or some of these alternative methods, you really don't know to get your sources of NPK or, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. It'll get to the point where you may just be blindly adding things. As we're with synthetics, you kind of have a bottle that says bloom, veg, CalMac, you know what
it's
I'm saying? You
broken
have
down.
everything you need. So that it's more dummy proof. I do
And
agree.
then to tie that into the price though, because that's what started this whole thing, was the downside to synthetic is that you are also paying for every single bottle of everything that plant needs, rather having a blend perhaps a stash blend, but having a blend that you pour in, top dress, or mix into your medium. So a cost effect. Now, what is organic? Again, I argue, or would mention, could save you some money going organic.
Yeah, yeah, over time for sure.
I
And even the
completely
pH,
agree.
man. Like,
Yeah, I mean, just to give you some numbers real quick, an organic fertilizer blend, I mean, you could buy a bag of for like $50, for example, and that's going to include all the nutrition you need to get you through your entire grow. Bunch of different amendments into one blend. Top dress, maybe amend the soil to begin, mend that up. Then every 30 days, you do a top dressing, roughly, depending on what the mix is and stuff like that. But roughly, generally speaking, it's about every 30 days, you do some sort of a top dressing. And then eventually those nutrients break down and then are uptaken by the plant. Now, on the synthetic side of things, maybe $30 for your base nutrients, right? So that's just the base nutrients. Fox Farm Trio, for example, $30. There's so many different nutrient lineups out there, but you also have to spend money on the silica bottle. You also have to spend money on the CalMag bottle, your beneficial microbes, so on and so forth. So it adds up, and it can be more on that avenue if you're buying those additives. You've got your base nutrients and you have your additive bottles. Those like silica, for example, is an additive. CalMag is an additive. So you're spending all this money on these additive bottles, and it can be more money than a fertilizer, organic fertilizer blend, for example. So yeah, comparing the prices, you can certainly, in my opinion, and in the approach that I've taken, it's been cheaper for me to go organic and do those routes because those blend include the additives as well as the base nutrients.
I think the only argument would be is if somebody's growing more for yield or for more frequency, and you want something like high frequency fertigation.
Good point.
You want to be able to really push the plants and do crop steering. That's where you can do organic crop steering. We talked with Brennan Rust about that, kind of essentially a different form of it, but utilizing the traditional ways that you see a lot of commercial grows doing, which clearly is never the best route always. But if you want to push your plant more, it's a little harder to do in something like an organic soil versus, let's say, even just straight perlite or Coco directly, rock wool. In this case, this conversation in particular, Coco. Now, I've in the past done that with an automatic dripper, doing like 13 feedings a day, very, very minimal amount, but a ton of them, And I've seen massive growth, like 2 weeks vegging, and it's quadrupled the size of what I get normally. But I have noticed that I have to put more overall time and money into that because I can't get what I get from an organic soil without spending for the whole line of nutrients. I can't just half-ass it. It's got to be 100% everything. So I feel like that for me is my big argument why I switched mainly to organic is because I was getting those results without the extra work, and it's flavor. I don't need as much yield because I'm just growing for myself and my patients. Back in the day, maybe a little different, we'll say allegedly,
Mhm.
but nowadays it's different. The
Man,
big thing for me is the pH, like I was saying, so touching on that, the range of cocoa, like, is 5.5, maybe to 6.5 if you're ballsy. Soil, though, you got that flexibility from, let's say, 6 to 7. What do you average on? Do you ever check yours, Chris?
Not so much anymore when I'm growing with organics. The plant releases acids, which is going to lower the pH, making nutrients available if it needs to. And then usually it's around 6.5 pH for my soil grows. Now, when I'm growing with synthetics, when I do that initial mix into water, I'm always adjusting the pH up because it's dropping down to like when that nutrient mix is going down to like 5.5, for example. And I know if I were to water in with soil, could potentially have problems. Now, I've gotten away with not having problems. Some people say 5.5 to 7 is the right range versus 6.0 to 7.0. So I'm not going to say that it's wrong to water in at 5.5 pH with synthetic nutrients, but typically what I'll do is I'll bring it up to like 6.2 ish and then water in. But yeah, runoff, whenever I'm measuring runoff, I try to aim for around 6.5 pH when growing with synthetics.
pH, potential hydrogen, and that's essentially what's going to be make available for your nutrients to be uptaken by the plant. Very important. Lots to be said about it. I would like to remind everyone that we have a giveaway. We have a giveaway coming at the
Oh,
end of the
yeah, we
show,
got
guys. I want
multiple
to
Stick
remind you
giveaways. Stick
guys.
around.
around.
But real quick, I thought
Yeah.
pH stood for when pitch is not available for something, I thought it was probably hockey. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Whether
in the
he's
chat,
watching
it's
it, he's going
pH.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
pH
Sorry.
question mark?
Probably hockey. Yeah, so it's different, his
That's
pH is
good.
off, and that means
That's
he's good
good.
for the weekend. We're chilling. watching
Yeah.
fights, playing games. So it just depends, you know?
Stick around, guys. We're doing a giveaway right after the show, right not after the show, towards
In
the end
like
of the
10,
show.
10, 15 minutes, we will. We just got
Shut
a
up.
couple more notes here I wanna go through of a couple
Yeah, we
things,
got a
like
great
conditioning the
conversation.
media. But
But
yeah, man.
pH is very important because I know that, and Chris, I have to ask though, you did just move. Did you go through like a moment where you went and tested all the water? Or are you confident that because it's coming all from the same lake that it's gonna be okay?
So I can't use my tap water.
Ah, shoot.
Unfortunately, it's very
It's
salty,
made out of
high in
death. Yeah.
sodium, and not usable. I use reverse osmosis. So I use a filtered water in order to water my plants.
Okay. So you already knew. You're using the same water from before as you are here?
Yeah, yeah. I had a
Yeah.
reverse osmosis system in my other house as well.
Okay. pH is very, very important. We kind of joke that I don't have to pH, and that's because my town a few years back, we got a new water treatment center. Water treatment center does amazing things to the water for me, douse things in really low. But pre that treatment center, I had to pH my water every single time. And
That's
it
wild.
it's something that you have to take into consideration. And pHing after you mix your nutrients, boys. You take care of that? Before or after, boys? What do you think?
After.
Mhm. Mhm. I
Yeah,
think we're all
mix
on
your
the same page. I
nutrients.
think we've had this conversation
Well, some
before.
nutrients will bring you down to the pH perfect level, you know? A lot of nutrients will, but,
Mhm.
specifically, a lot of people will say advanced. I've seen Athena do it, um, or Dutch Pro would do it, a few other lines, but some you still need to dial it down depending, especially if you're in cocoa. It may get down to 6.5, but ideally, you should be lower than that. So it does depend on your what you're doing. But
And
then
no
if you're
matter what,
getting
sorry,
Go ahead.
real quick, sorry, not to cut you off. A lot of people have questions about their nutrients. If I could give anyone any advice, contact the nutrient company in which you're getting those nutrients. Ask them. If they're not willing to answer your questions, I hate to break it to you, you need to find
They
another
suck.
source. Yep, you need to find another source because any nutrient company should be more than willing to answer the questions of their customer, their patrons, whatever you want to refer them ourselves as, and they'll have that information that you need so that you can determine whether or not you should pH after, before, how much, when, this, that, and the other thing. Shout out to Green
Yeah.
Planet for always answering my questions as to whether or not I could use my nutrients on my grass.
Hmm. That's
They
different.
can.
Well, then, like, even look at Athena. They have the Athena program. Make sure you check out Scrog School on Sundays, 7 Eastern. Troy's using that right now, and he literally has organic and he has synthetics. You can really see how they kind of grow in conjunction and how they work, and that it actually can still be done very well and very efficiently. But it boils down to then your medium's ready to go, and it's fine. Now, I'm using a brick of cocoa from AC Infinity, but if you're using something like some cheap shit that you got on Amazon from a random brand, you're probably going to need to pre-treat that. And oftentimes you're going to need to add calcium and magnesium to make sure you have a buffer in there. But I've had it before where it's been extremely salty and you needed to rinse it, like flush your cocoa out thoroughly. So depending on where you're getting it, if it's not from AC, and I still would even maybe then still flush it out and make sure it's clean. You don't want to risk anything, man. You just want to keep it tight and right. But cocoa bricks, especially that aren't they don't say pre-rinsed on the bag and ready to go. Make sure that you consider that.
Yeah, 100%. I touched upon that a little bit in the beginning of the episode, but I've been a victim of those bricks, those cheap bricks off Amazon, using those. And even after rinsing it and buffering it, I still had issues, on that initial planting. And it's like, maybe I didn't do a good enough job of rinsing or buffering, according to what online says. And I follow, big shout out to Dr. MJ Coco. I follow him. He's
Yeah.
so incredible when it comes to growing in cocoa. And so I use his method for rinsing and buffering. Highly recommend that. But even with that cheap brick, it was just still too salty. I had stunning growth in the beginning, right from initially sprout. Now the plant ended up recovering and ended up being okay, but the autoflower did. The autoflower looked terrible, right? The autoflower was limited period of time before it automatically starts to flower. So any stunt growth, which I had, it didn't turn out good at all. But the ones that were photo period, I would keep on veg, get them healthy, and then they were able to be good to go. But yeah, it's tricky. Always try to look for the pre-rinsed, pre-buffered stuff because it'll just make your life a little bit easier.
It's so much better. It's just it's tougher for shipping when you're ordering it online. when you get a box, like again, a 2 pound brick, this little tiny thing, that's huge versus dealing with a big bag. Like I used Royal Gold for years. Shout out to Max and the team. Bust my elbow. Cool crew. You know, they do their thing. Maxwell's a great guy. Not saying don't use it, but my grocery store is closed. So I have to order it online. And getting it to me is a little more difficult now than it used to be because when I'd go and see Trey up at the shop, you know, he'd have the twoper ready for me. So I'm like, all right, cool, boom, let's go. Now it's to the point where I switched up really because of availability. I was telling him that at MJ BizCon. I was like, man, dude, it's so tough to get you guys' product around here. He's like, yeah, you have to order online and sometimes back ordered. It's tough. So availability is a big reason why a lot of people will go with something sustainable like an organic soil because you can keep reusing it. You don't have to rely on getting that same package or same quality again, you know?
It's one thing to keep into consideration that like regardless of what you choose, I think you should legitimately look local sources first. Look locally first. Hopefully they're selling all the latest greatest ACI products, but the reality is shipping a lot of earth around the earth is one of the most
Bad things for the earth.
inefficient. It's one of the worst things for the earth, and it's just one of the
Yeah.
most inefficient things that we can do when in reality most of us can source a lot of this stuff locally. When it comes to the idea of sterilizing or conditioning, and I know you guys will talk about conditioning your soil and so on and so forth, but sterilizing should be something that should be at the forefront of your IPM, but it should be at the forefront of really anything you take on that's foreign to your environment. And soil and or potting mix is key to that. If you're going to pick up your Pro Mix and it's under the bridge in the dark crevices under some pallets, some soaking wet tarps, it's not going to be good. It's
Yeah.
not
If
going to be
it's
good,
scraped
and
up off the islands
it's
overseas.
probably gonna be infested with something. Sure, you can sterilize that. I have no idea how you do that, but I'm sure you could. But the reality is you gotta source locally, but be cautious of the sources in which you're getting your stuff because that's where you're gonna get a lot of your bugs. If you're gonna
Yeah.
get from one spot and you've had success, get from that spot again and again and again and again. So yes, source locally and understand that sterilizing your product before it comes into your garden is number one.
I'm glad you got a robot moment too. Is that what you guys were getting from me?
Damn it.
Yeah. Discord. It maybe just be
One.
one, but P has it too. It's not just me. Okay. I'm putting it out there. Everybody in the
Damn
chat, are
it.
watching this?
Damn it. Why?
So we won't get too much deeper because the next episode we're gonna get deeper on it. But when it comes to soil or just water or cocoa, what about those for seedlings? Getting that going. Whether you're starting it, you're going right into it. What is the surefire way? What do you guys do? What do you like? What's your method? Or what are you gonna do? Because I think we're gonna pop some seeds here soon,
Mm, mm. We are. Yep, we are gonna be popping seeds soon,
allegedly.
if we can say that.
Yeah, there. I mean, a couple different ways to go about it. Kind of talking, leaking the next episode into this one here. We're doing, I guess, a little bit of a challenge. I guess you can call it is the seed germination. Showing you guys kind of the different methods to go about it. There are so many different ways to go about it. Just a small handful is what we're gonna do. Paper towel method, straight into water, and then straight into soil. Right. So
Mm,
Yeah.
I've covered this in videos in the past. I know Rob has, Pigeons has. It I don't want to say it's subjective, but like there are pros and cons to each of the ways. And we're going to go into that and we are going to show you hands on how we go about it. So we're each going to pick a way to go about it. I'm going to choose straight in water. I'm going to go straight in water, let the seed germinate. Then I'm going to plant it into the
Damn.
medium. Rob, what are you doing?
I gotta put a little protection in there. I'm bringing some paper. I'm gonna do the young little paper towel method, old
Paper
school
towel.
throwback, tried and true. Make her happen, Captain. And I think P just goes straight with it. No, no, nothing. The
whoa.
condom, he's right there.
Whoa. I'm gonna get to know her first, boy. I'm
Okay,
gonna like
okay,
whisper to
cool,
her a little
cool,
bit. I'm gonna
cool.
sing her a little T Swiss. And I'm gonna just ease her into her little nesting place, cover it up, and I'm just gonna
Hot
give her
twit.
water, man.
Give her the hot tweet,
I'm
and
a
then it's good to go.
yeah.
And then it's good to go, man. I think that what we need to do is so 2 weeks from now, I want you guys in the comment section afterwards. If you're in the chat here, don't worry about it. But in the comment section after this, comment which one you think is going to be done the best, the fastest. Which one will be the fastest? Will it be paper towel, straight water, or will it be straight in the soil? And maybe we'll pick a winner next week for somebody who commented in the section. Commented in the section of comments. Because I don't know, it's
Making
subjective.
it complicated.
Subjective is. We'll see. We'll see. So there's more to talk deeper in all of these subjects in cocoa and soil. We're going to dive deeper into each later on as we go in there. But if you're just starting off and you're following along with the grow, this is pretty much where you would then be getting ready to pop your seeds. So what we're going to do then is we're going to test your knowledge. What do you think?
Do we want to do that yet, or there's one more that I don't think we covered. Do we want to cover synganic growing real quick?
Oh, let's do that real quick. Let's do
That's
that
a good idea.
That's good.
Synganic.
That's
I
a
like
good
that.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Synganic. That's the word people think is just made up, but no, it's one that's really in this space.
Synganic. So,
Cool.
yeah, I've definitely got to cover that. I think a lot of people grow synganically without even knowing it. So, what is synganic? Synganic is using really a combination of organic inputs and synthetic inputs, or mineral-based inputs, right? Bottled nutrients, for example. And a lot of people, the reason why I say a lot of people are doing it without even realizing it is because a lot of people are starting out with that bagged soil with nutrition already in it. A lot of these bagged soils with nutrition already in it are organic amendments. So they're starting out with that, letting the plant grow for 20, 30 days, 40 days, roughly, depending on what their container size is. Plant has enough nutrition in it for that period of time. Then they're going in there adding in bottled nutrients at that point. And then they're either using bottled nutrients for the rest of the grow, or they're using a combination of bottled nutrients and organic inputs for the rest of the grow. And there's so many different inputs you can use. I mean, we can't name them all here, but a lot of the common ones are compost, worm castings. I think just about almost every organic grower uses worm castings. Very, very beneficial. Or an organic fertilizer blend, and also doing the bottled nutrients on top of it as well. So I personally do grow synganic quite a bit, and I get such a great result growing with it. And I know it's very kind of split between people saying, yes, it's a good way to grow, and no, it's not a good way to grow. Have you guys grown synganically at all? Or
Yeah.
I don't swing that way. Forget that, man. I'll tell you what, boy. I don't know what you're trying to say, boy. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it in the past before where my soil was depleted and I didn't have enough time to. I was ignorant to teas at the time, and I didn't have enough time for the amendments to break down. So I'm like, shit, man, we're switching right into it. Flower nutrients, let's go, baby. And it worked in that sense. And then I ended up still reusing the soil. People say that you shouldn't because it'll get too big of a salt buildup, but I didn't run into that. I do feel like it depends on what you're putting into it, of course, but Synganic does work for a lot of people who may be utilizing something like Stash Blend and then utilizing uh, another organic amendment, and then they've got a base nutrient that's synthetic. It can still work really well. It's not going to kill your microbe. Science has proven that it won't kill it with just regular synthetic nutrients. So at that point, it's doable. But I feel like if you can try to go all organic or all the other, well, maybe not all or all the other way. I think adding organic in is beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned it because the reality is I was gonna say the way that I grow is the best, but no. No matter which way you choose to grow, I think it's important that you take a stab at it and find a way that works for you. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, source locally. And if locally you have a ton of organic options, go that route. If you live already off the land, if you've got a compost and you already understand the organic process and all these avenues that approach you in life, then take that route. If you want to take a synthetic route, you see you're walking through whatever and wherever, go and go that route. Try
Go.
that. But don't hesitate. Jump in. Give it a shot. Don't let anything intimidate you. There's plenty of resources today to get you in the right direction, on the right foot. And I think with the resources available, you're going to be unstoppable and you're going to change your life with the possibilities of growing for your own.
Yeah, grow your own. That's why you're here, right? You're watching AC Infinity. You're watching from the stash. It makes the most sense. I feel like if you're not and you're just curiously watching, because there are some people who just consume, now is the time, man. Now is the time. It's never been a better time. And with that, we're gonna have a giveaway, a massive giveaway. What is it?
oh, hold on, let me
You got
hold you
more?
up one more time. One more thing. Well, we're gonna go into trivia first, right? And then
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
giveaway.
Trivia.
But hold
That's
on,
right.
before the trivia, I have my own little question here. So it relates to this topic, so that's why I'm bringing it
Okay,
up.
all right. I'll
All
let
right.
Chris speak. Hashtag.
Let me speak. So I did a poll on my talk channel and I asked people, what do you grow with? Option number 1, organic fertilizers and amendments only. Option 2 was synthetic nutrients only, whether it be bottled or powdered. Option number 3 was organic. We just talked about that, both organic and synthetic nutrients. And then option number 4 was natural farming methods, right? We didn't even get into like KNF and those natural farming methods that you can do in order to feed your plants that way. The results off of that was, I don't know, I was a little bit surprised by it, right? Number 1 was the top result was organic fertilizers amendments only. 44% people grow with organically now.
Wow.
Number 2 was synganic. 34% people grow synganically, both organic and synthetic nutrients. Number 3 was 16%. Only 16% grow with synthetic nutrients only. And then lastly was 6% with natural farming methods.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of interesting if I bring it up here since it kind of relates to what we're talking about today.
That's very interesting because I feel
Yeah.
like 10 years ago even it'd probably be different. But like I've been saying, I remember sitting at the grocery store with Trey and I'm like, bro, that dude's never coming back. He just bought like 30 pounds of organic amendment. He's not coming back.
Just
Like
sold
that's it. He
yourself
bought
out
an
of business.
LED light and it, like he's not coming back. Period. He's not gonna come for bulbs. He's not gonna come for nothing. It's done. It's over. And the masses of people picked up on that. They've got direct from their equipment, comes from AC Infinity, organic nutrients comes from their house pretty much. A lot of people at this point. It's beautiful, man. I love to see that. That is really cool.
Times have changed. That's fair to say. I remember the organic growers used to be like the little hobbits in the corner with like,
Yeah, you were like a snobby, weird organic guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
You had like a
Yep.
bunch of bracelets and shit. And
10 years ago, if we did this poll, I'd be willing to bet organic would probably be down to around 15% of people.
dude,
It has
I
been
love
just
it,
a
man.
trend
It's
in the past 10
wicked.
years. More
Shout
and more
out to
people
the
growing
growers,
organically.
dude.
I think it's fair to say that our community is an abundance of just, I don't know, I'd like to think well-minded people that don't want to do a bunch of damage or harm. They don't want to hurt anyone, and going organic is the most sustainable. So can be the cheapest, most well-rounded way to grow your own. So it makes sense that more people are taking it on. We're pretty good people.
If you guys like this video right now, I'm gonna force us into this trivia and giveaway.
Oh, right now?
I'm just gonna
Actually,
do
one
it.
more thing. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna actually I want to talk about philosophy.
I want to talk about sex, baby.
No,
Let's
but it's
do it.
great point, man. Like that's a fascinating that's worth a video in itself to talk about the evolution of where there's so many home growers who are doing organics. Blows my mind. Like I was very surprised. I saw the poll, I clicked on it, but I didn't see the results. Like because it was early as hell when you like I didn't want to go there, but I gotta go back.
Yeah, pretty
That's
wild.
crazy. That is crazy.
Good work.
So
So what we
have
got
a
going on here,
trivia,
boys?
man. We have a trivia. And it's gonna be
Trivia.
a tough
Okay.
one. You got
Hope you guys
40
were
seconds on
listening.
the clock, okay?
40
Now-
seconds on the clock.
Yep. The ones that you got, it says question 1, wink. It should be the opposite. The first question should be what form of cocoa is Rob using? But we're gonna be doing a trivia here, okay? And this one is if you paid attention, and this is gonna help you win. We've got some things. We're not gonna tell you which one is getting, actually we're gonna tell you the last one. The last one is gonna get the biggest giveaway. But the first couple, you still get some amazing stuff. We've got an AC Infinity swag box. It comes with some cocoa, their cocoa, the brick, the quality clean one, and some stash blend. Now this is US and
Ooh.
Canada only. Unfortunately, if you're somewhere else, it's
Let's go.
not for you, sorry. But US and Canada only. And we're gonna start, I guess Wink will let us know when the clock starts. And they gotta do it for I don't wanna say that. It says
You can't
question
say it.
1 on the thing, FTS trivia question 1, and then that thing.
Da-na-na.
Da-na-na. First one is
Da-na-na.
what form of cocoa is Rob using? That's the one.
What form of cocoa is Rob using?
40 seconds on the clock.
40
Now
seconds.
you wanna do hashtag the letter. It's hashtag A, hashtag B, hashtag C, or hashtag D. I used to call them pound signs.
Yeah, in 99, 91.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was. Nobody calls them pound signs anymore. Use pound sign. It's
Only when you-
hashtags now.
Only when you got like an operator on the phone. You got like a phone operator and like number 4, then press pound.
All right, Wink, I just messaged you the thing that you asked me, so that way the people don't hear. Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. So it sounds like a doing business as. All right. So when this comes on, you've got 40 seconds, okay? And you have to put it in there. You have to do hashtag and then the letter.
They get
Okay,
it.
it's coming up
they
here.
Get it. They get
What
it.
form of cocoa is Rob? I'm Rob. From Rob. What form of cocoa am I using?
Rob from Rob.
Rob from
You
Rob.
gotta be able to get this right. There's a lot
Is
of
it
letters in
bagged
there.
cocoa pear leg? Is it bagged? I have that twice. Is it brick of cocoa peat moss? Or is it brick of cocoa coir? We got a trick question in the first two there.
Yep, good.
I like if somebody picks B, it's like, damn, okay, you weren't paying attention at all. Huh?
No.
There was a lot of B's in there.
It's not, the answer was not B. The answer was A.
It's between A or B. It's good though. You have to figure this out. Were you paying attention? Because I will say I did talk about this being a thing that is available, and then I said I was going to be doing. All right, once this thing is up, we're going to have it ran from AC Infinity. They're going to run it here. They're going to let me know the winner, and we are going to say your name. Say your name.
Da-na-na.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. All right. Rolling
Yeah,
it.
I got Sports Center. Yeah.
Holy shit, it's the homie. No way.
Oh,
Tap
No way.
Roots Growing.
let's go.
TRG,
let's go.
man.
Let's
Tap
go.
Roots Growing. Hell yes,
This does
man.
not help the argument that we just pick people from the community.
Dude, it's a random roll.
I love it's just random. Everything is 100% random. It just pays to pay attention and it pays to tune in, guys. Tap Roots, bro.
Growing. Email giveaways at acinfinity.com.
Congratulations.
You got yourself a swag box, my boy.
Long time
Nice.
follower right there,
Coco?
man. Let's go.
Man, that is so cool.
That's sweet. That's sweet. What we got next?
Next. What is the next one? This one has to come up. Wink, are you pulling it up?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you up on the spot.
All right, I got it over here. It's the Which
Yeah.
Host is Growing Organically. And this is for this run, not always. For this run. We just talked about it for this episode.
Which one of us is running organically?
That's what it sounds like, right? But we talked about it for this episode.
So we talked about it. Yep.
Is
Now
it
this one
A,
is
Rob CLTV, B, Mr. Grow It, C, Pigeons 420, or D, Rob and Mr. Grow It?
remember it's hashtag the letter, so hashtag A, hashtag B, hashtag C, or hashtag D. This one's tough. This one's tough. I don't know, man, because it's one that a lot of people are gonna make the assumption because I was talking a lot about it. I was saying a lot of positive things about it. But I don't know. Because personally, what I do is different than what we're doing right now. That's gonna be different. Is it Rob CLTV, Mr. Grow It, Pigeon 420, or Rob and Mr. Grow It? Time is going up here. Oh, boom. Mr. Grow It. Okay. Okay. Funny enough, I mentioned earlier I'm using Coco. And that's the last one we just had, and it's a brick of cocoa. So I'm not going to amend that. I'm going to be doing synthetic nutrients. I'm going to be following in Troy's path and using the Athena line. I'm going to follow their program, see how that does, and see what it be like, along with Stash Blend, of course.
Let's go.
So we're running
Let's
that
go.
winner. I'm just waiting on
A wiener?
we got a Gen X grower. We got a Gen X grower.
Gen
See, it's
X.
not rigged. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who Gen X grower is, but shout out to
But
you.
shout out to you for tuning in, paying attention, and being here tonight, man. We
You
appreciate
paid attention.
you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Email giveaways at acinfinity.com to be able to get your gift. You get yourself I almost said a blend box, an AC Infinity box with some Stash Blend and some cocoa in there, and
Sweet.
other really cool stuff too. So this
Sweet.
last one here, this is the big cojones right here. And this is if you paid attention, okay? I don't know if you did. This one should be. This one
There's
seems
Gen X.
crazy to me. That's why I made this the question is what it was. It seems crazy to me, and nobody would think that this is real, but somehow, some way, it is. This one though is for the Terraform 7.
Oh,
this is
new
big.
air conditioner.
This
This
is
is the
big.
new air conditioner slash
What?
heater slash dehumidifier slash air circulator slash everything. Time
Hell
machine.
yeah. First one that I've seen
Air
given
fryer.
away today.
This is a massive thing, man. This is a massive one. So make
First
sure
ever
you
giveaway
are part of this.
for the AC. First ever giveaway for the air conditioner.
Yeah,
ever.
dude. First day. This is the big cojones, okay? So if you're in the chat, before we even started, make sure you hit that like button because AC Infinity has put the show on together for you guys, for us, and this giveaway is 100% by them, man.
And we can
Amazing.
confirm likes. So if you haven't liked it, we will
I can see
probably make
exactly
sure.
everything.
Yeah, we'll make sure that the milk you put in your cereal is going to be spoiled.
Oh, almond milk too.
Wow.
Yeah, not even
Yep.
almond milk, fucking
We're
the other
going there.
stuff.
We're going there.
Skim
Okay.
milk.
Hit
Yeah.
that like button.
All right, Wink.
Okay.
This
Yep.
is the final one.
I
How
went there.
often does Pigeons 420 balance pH of his water?
Ooh,
Is it
that's a tough
A,
one.
never? Is it B, once per week? Is it C, twice per week? Or is it D, every feeding? Remember, it's hashtag A, hashtag B, hashtag C, or hashtag D.
40 seconds. Go. Boom. Da-na-na.
It's a tough one, man.
Da-na-na. A lot of
It's a
sports
tough
net. Hey,
one.
shout out to Florida for winning the cup last night. Stanley Cup
Yeah,
was taken home.
Florida.
Yep.
They're out
Yeah.
there.
Shout out to Paul Maurice though.
They took it home. They won.
Florida did. Yeah.
They
But
won the whole thing.
Yeah. But if
The
we
whole thing.
continue this conversation, we're gonna drop 40% of our.
Nobody
conversation.
said anything. You guys got real quiet in the separate Discord. I didn't know that. Oh man, sorry. Damn.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but yeah, it took
It's like we're not over it to this day. All right, it looks like we got
40 seconds is up.
we
Who
got
was it?
A.
Never. All my haters are like, duh.
Dude, this is the big cojones, man. Big shout out to AC Infinity making this happen. I can't even believe it. Mr. Terps 444. Congratulations,
Hey.
Mr. Terps 444.
Congratulations.
You won the AC Infinity Terraform 7. That's insane, dude.
Well
That's
played.
insane.
It's a big
Well
giveaway
played.
for sure.
Dude.
If any of you guys missed out, if you guys didn't win and you want to get some AC Infinity stuff, you can go to their website. Any of their gardening products use discount code TheStash15. So that'll get you a discount. And that includes the new Terraform 7. So that discount code is active for that new product.
That is huge. That is huge, man. What a massive, massive deal, dude. To be able to have people win that in the first day.
Pretty sweet,
Shout out
man.
to AC
Pretty
Infinity,
sweet.
man. Wow.
Big shout out to AC Infinity. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so we'll
wicked.
be doing these bi-weekly. We'll be back next week with an update. We got one more winner who can be in the comment section. Get yourself a swag box, some stash blend, and some cocoa. You got to figure out who is going to be able to get the fastest results for germination. Is it going to be straight water, homie? Is it going to be paper towel? Or are we going right in the soil?
Yeah.
Gotta let us know in the comment section after this video, not in the chat, in the comment section after the video. We're gonna pick one person next week, and we're gonna send you something fly, man. Shout out to AC for that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to like take a couple seconds to discuss that. So this is going to be a method. It sounds like all three of us are going to be planting something here, and it sounds like this
some stuff
may
from
or may
Seedsman over here.
not. Sorry.
I got some stuff from Seedsman over here. I'm gonna be popping
Oh.
popping them tangs.
Wow. Okay. Doing it like that. That's what I like. Well, as a matter of fact, I do too. And I think you at home could be doing the exact same thing. If you would like to, perhaps, if a bean just so happened to fall into a little bit of soil, or it landed
To
in a piece of
grow
paper with
along
some
with us.
water, or it landed into a little vodka shot of water, you perhaps could grow along with us. And I think that would be really, really cool. So if that's something you're interested in and you kind of want to take a journey with us, because throughout this show, this is highly educated. We're going to be taking some stabs in the dark. We're going to be doing some things that maybe you've never tried before. And I think this is an opportunity for you to grow with us and take a journey with us that I think will be a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It'll be cool to see all the results. So that's why it's a good point. If you haven't already, make sure you tune into the ACI Discord. I think is a great place that we could share all these photos and keep up to date and keep things going. So check that out. Okay. I think somebody
Absolutely.
over there will hit us up with a link.
And again, for the people who won, make sure you email giveaways at acinfinity.com. That's how you're going to be able to collect your gift. Huge shout out to everybody. We've got Growers Gauntlet live tomorrow. For those who weren't involved, we got the crew here. Maybe Chris might show up. Maybe, who knows? I don't know, maybe. We've got Northern Scrogger, Deuce Farms, I Can THC, and T with P tomorrow, of course. Thursday, we're going to be live from the stash. Highly
Got a
uncensored.
packed
We get a
week.
little wild there. And then Sunday, you got Scrog School with Troy.
Yeah.
Northern Scrogger. So, I mean, it's a packed week, man. Make sure you subscribe over here to AC Infinity, because There's so much going on. It's literally become a full network. It's not just like a grow equipment company. This is a network now. Pretty
That's
sweet.
what it is. It's great to be a
Oh,
part
yeah.
of it. Yeah. Huge shout out to you
Yeah.
guys for watching. Huge shout out to ACI for putting us on and for putting on an awesome
Putting up with
show
us.
and putting up with us. Yeah. We huge shout out to Wink for keeping things running smoothly for most part. He's not going to lose his job tonight, guys.
Mm.
Okay. Despite the mistakes he saw, we're going to give him a mulligan. Everybody deserves a mulligan.
Hell
No,
yeah,
huge
man.
shout out to the man behind the scenes making everything run so
Terraform
smooth.
too, man. It's out right now and it's gonna be sold
Make sure you
out
go
quick.
check it out.
It's gonna
Go
be
get your
sold out super
Terraform.
quick, dude.
Go get your Terraform.
Much
Use
love,
promo code
everybody.
TheStash15.
Oh yeah. That being said, man, appreciate you guys pulling up. It's from the stash. Highly educational. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Stay with it.
Peace.